Good morning. Well, there's the last piece. It's not attached yet. It's just sitting there. Stayed up till about 11:30 last night cutting this out. Clamped it down. The back of it. It's got the holes, mounting holes in it. So I got a little bit of trim work to do on this. Fabrication on the dash, I believe, is done. I apologize, there's a couple whammies in here that Mr. Nate is going to have to fix, but they're not too bad. He's going to do a bit of welding on this, get it all nice. We'll sand all these corners. This panel unbolts, holds the Switch Pros, holds the iPad. Got our speaker and our plugs down below. Two-way radio hangs underneath and hole there for the wires. Got our glove box here all done. It's a huge glove box. It goes all the way back here. Made it as big as it possibly could fit. So, fair amount of welding now for Nate to do, but this is ready to go. Very pleased with the way it came out. I've got all the patterns. I could always make another box comes out. And I try to keep the gaps as tight as I could. And some of these tacks are probably in your way and, you know, pretty awful, but this comes out. This panel comes off with 6 screws. This panel comes off 6 screws.
Yep.
So there's nothing to do on this piece, but I left it on there. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, if it's
seam, right? Everything here. So
the only this and this is all one piece.
Yep.
So the only seams are where the 2 side plates go on. I'll show you with the torch. And it can be done on the outside. That's totally cool. It's just a glove box.
It's basically, once you start your arc, you're stabilizing it. The end of your tungsten balls up, and then you're basically just dabbing wire as you go. So you have a puddle going just like you would any other time. Maybe a little bit of weaving back and forth, but once you get that puddle going, you can put a lot of heat to it before it'll drop out on you or anything.
Yeah.
So we should be able to get, I don't want to overkill it with penetration and stuff either, but that's what I'm saying. Once this is on here, it's just hard to get
I don't even think here you need to worry about the inside, because you could, once you pull this out 4 screws, you could do that. You could hit all those seams easily on the outside, and you can left attached to the face. So I'll probably put, you know, one. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I might do 2 screws here and you know a couple.
But what you are saying is this can be welded.
Oh yeah, this
across
definitely
there
could be welded
and down. Okay, yeah.
And
So
down,
some gauges go in there. Steering column right there.
Right, so something pokes through here, but there's no panel that goes over it. Mm-hmm. My little switch indicator that you see in front of you when you're, you know, turn signals and all that.
Yep.
So these panels I'll cut out probably this week, and they'll have holes in them for the gauges, and those will be removable. So if I want to change them, I can Jeep that big wide flat spot on the front.
Oh yeah.
So when you fold the windshield up, it goes up to, you know, here.
Yep. So I could weld a little bit on the ends, and it should hold that angle anyways. Not that
the ends or the inside or whatever. I mean,
yep. Put a couple tacks.
I just cut
Steering
out
column goes through here. Plates for gauges on either side go right here.
I'm going to end up actually cutting those.
Mike's got some type of indicator here for directionals or something. He said that goes into that slot. Obviously his
basically
his iPad
weld
goes
as
in the
much
center.
as I can on the outsides.
Yeah.
And then
Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to everybody who served our country. And this is going to be a big year for us, including the Growler. Let's walk over and Colin will run us through what we've got going on here. So it looks like a bowl of spaghetti back here, but it's actually getting a lot better. Rick's friend Nate has got my dashboard, the new aluminum dash. He's welding it. But the nice thing is the dashboard is just like the icing on the cake. It is not required for operation. And the key to all this is the new Switch Pros, well, new to me, Switch Pros 12
Brand new, but you know.
controller. So all of this wiring came with the Switch Pros. These are all outputs. This whole bundle here is stuff I haven't used yet. These here. Obviously everything still needs to be all zip tied and tidied up. But we've been hooking up circuits. Colin, you have your phone out?
Yeah.
Grab your phone, grab that little switch pad, and we'll show everybody how this works.
Okay. Alright, so battery's on in order to connect to it.
So we got a battery master switch down there.
And then
That has nothing to do with the Switch Pros. That's just a new addition. Rick wired that up. We secured it. We cleaned it all up, zip tied everything, and mounted it. Switch Pros, at least the 12. I don't know if the 8 does, but the 12 anyway. Comes with a fully customizable app. Where's the pad too? So this is their control pad. I haven't lettered it yet. Comes with all kinds of stick-on adhesive letters. This gets mounted on the dash. This will sit in about here in the vehicle, right in front of the shifter. But the app can do everything that the phone or that the switch pad can do.
Yep.
So go ahead, give us a little demo.
So you got ignition, turns it on, same on here.
And then you'll notice this also lights up.
So if I turn it off,
And these will be labeled eventually.
that turns that off. Turn on.
See, you can turn it on there, and I can shut it off here.
Yep. And it turns it off on here too.
Okay.
So then you got all these you got rock lights, light bar, all that does that. That's headlights.
Give us a share. I'll go over here.
One touch. That's high beam for 2.
Yep.
Off. That's the light bar.
Beautiful.
Rock lights. And then you got
And he's doing all that from the app on his phone,
right here. You can see them.
by the way.
Headlights. Double click for high. Single click for low beams.
So that's a feature of the Switch Pros where you can do a progressive. They call it on, off.
And it shows you right on here. If you match this up,
Yep. Looks just
Shows
like
you.
that.
3 in here, 3 in here. Same exact layout.
Cool thing about this, can I borrow this for a second?
Yeah.
If you go into settings and you go to
Somewhere in there.
see, my app looks a little bit different, I thought.
Oh, maybe hit next. Right there.
Oh yeah, here we go. On, off setup. So if we click on that, and this is one of the many features. So output turns on with, okay, so we're talking about, you pick the switch you want to use. We're using switch 2. You can see we've got switch 2 selected. Switch 2 is the headlights. Output's turned on with the first push of the switch, which is output these 2 outputs here. Okay, and then output's turned on with the second push of the switch, or these 2. And then that's it.
Yep.
And that's as easy as this is to program. And there's a whole lot of other things. I don't want to go into a whole tutorial on this. They have plenty of them on the website.
And then it shows you your battery voltage down here at the bottom too.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, your switches are different. Look different on my screen.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yep.
yeah, it'll tell you battery voltage and temperature, which I assume is temperature maybe of the unit itself. The blue light on here signifying that it's connected to Bluetooth, a Bluetooth device, meaning Colin's phone. So anyway, give us a shot. Give us a little rundown. Use the switch pad instead of the app. Just use the switch pad. And let's see, give us a shot. Fire it up. And
All right, so we got ignition, which this isn't staying here. So we got, that's ignition, separate switch. And it lights up and everything. And then start button's right here.
you want to move it? Pull it over there? All right, I'm going to end this video. It's getting a little lengthy. Pick up with another one. see, we've got most of our lighting wired up. He's got backup lights are all connected up. He's got brake lights. He turns on the headlights. We'll have tail lights. So we're making good progress. We're gonna get it up on the lift right now. Skid plates have to go on, but before that, we're gonna pressure wash the undercarriage. We've got a small transmission leak we wanna try to diagnose. And then we may take it out wheeling next weekend. Got all brand new gauges coming for it. All auto meter gauges again. The tilt wheel is something new this we just did, which still has to be finished.
Yeah, so you just pull this pin right here,
Yep.
and you can tilt it all the way. There's all different holes, so you can take wherever you want.
Beautiful.
And you can also take it off.
Quick release hub makes getting in and out quite a bit easier. So this still has time to get in there and finish weld all this. But the placement is good. We like it. I've got to tighten up and do all the joints. There's 2 joints under here. I've got to drill the holes and put all the set screws in the joints.
It just goes
And then we'll paint it.
just goes right back on here.
Beautiful. Looks good.
Yep.
And then obviously you would put it down to where you're going to run it. And it looks like it sticks out far, but the dashboard comes all the way out to about here, right?
Yeah.
More or less. This is just poking through. So when it's all done, it looks really nice, sharp.
Yep.
Nothing like starting your evening with a nice cup of black coffee. An old Dirty Mike and the Boys cup. Anyway, one thing I wanted to point out, Colin and I just left the Jeep running out here. I hadn't tested this yet before, but kudos to Switch Pros. These guys, they don't endorse me or sponsor me. I wish they would. They make a hell of a product. The first time using it, I've seen it a few times. Paid up for it, paid quite a bit for it. There are certainly cheaper ones on the market. However, I wouldn't buy one. A cheaper one, that is. The Switch Pros is top notch. Their directions are fantastic. Their video series is phenomenal. Their products so far, top quality. You can see the unit right in there. What I'm pointing out is you can hear the cooling fans are running. Now, Switch Pros has what they call external input, trigger input. My fans are wired up to this switch down here, I think. Maybe not. I forget which one I wired them up to. But I set it up to use an external trigger. Now this is an LS motor under the hood, 6-liter LS. The factory computer. Colin, can I have a light? Phone light, it's fine. The factory LS or GM computer is what I use to run this thing. It's sitting right here. So the computer has 2 fan outputs. Don't mind the wiring. We had to take all the clamps off to do all this. Has 2 fan outputs. I hooked each fan output, which were pre-programmed because I used to use them in my last switch panel. I took the 2 fan outputs from the ECM. I wired those into 2 of the inputs on the Switch Pros. So when the computer gets to whatever temperature, it grounds that wire. That ground signal goes into the Switch Pros. You can select in Switch Pros whether it's a high or low signal, meaning a ground or a power. And then you can tell it to control an output. And it's fully programmable from the app. I'll have to do a little demo on the app later on. There is quite a bit on YouTube. Don't need to reinvent the wheel, but they do a phenomenal job. So this is our first time actually warming this thing up. The fan came on. Now if it runs long enough, the second cooling fan will come on. Or we have a switch a manual switch to turn them on. So you'll notice if I go to the switch pros, I can connect up to it. And I don't know why it looks different on mine. So see how I have radiator fans right here? Now listen to the pitch change. I have this one manual override switch connected to turn on both fan outputs. Hear that? Just shut them off. Now if I hit the manual switch, they'll both come on. Headlights are in your eyes, shut those off. And we'll let that run for a minute, see if the fans come back on automatically, which they should. Close out your app.